it's Becky, and this is a video about my Japanese school uniform. So as you can see, it looks black, but it's really navy. It's the standard Japanese high school uniform issue, with a navy blazer, long navy skirt, and navy socks to complete the look. We've also got a little loop that's unique to our school, and that's pretty much the standard uniform. This is what we wore in the summer. We had a short sleeve white shirt that was tucked into our skirt. The skirt is quite long, you see, it goes down past the knee, but really it was, not as fashionable as what some girls liked. So most of the time what happened was we would roll our skirts up. We also wore the loop a little bit loosely around our neck with one of the buttons undone. Now you can see the skirt isn't that short, but that's what they thought was fashionable, so we had that kind of short skirt rolled up. The next thing we had would be our classroom shoes versus the loafers we wore outside. Now my classroom shoes are white and green because for my year in the high school, our color was green. Other colors included red and blue. For all 3 years, the colors rotated, so while I was in Japanese school, my color was always green. This is what we looked like walking from class to class every day, pretty much in the summertime when it was hot and there was no AC in the classroom. This is the long sleeve white blouse that we also had. This could be alternated any time with the short sleeve. Most of the time the sleeves were rolled up slightly to let a little bit of air in. The skirt was once again tucked under the shirt and it was still short. Now when it got chillier, we would buy vests that they had to be a neutral color, gray, white, beige, brown, or navy. They were made of a thin material and had pockets, and they covered up part of the skirt, and most of the blouse, like that, kept the wind from running straight through our blouses because they were very thin materials. Another style I had was the white one. This I wore in the spring when it was a little bit colder because it was made of a slightly thicker material. It also had pockets, and it looked pretty much the same style as the gray one. A lot of girls wore these when it was chilly, and it was one of the fashionable things to do pretty much. In the winter, when it got really cold, we would wear these woolly sweaters. So this was a button-up sweater, and we had the long sleeve white blouse underneath it. While we had the button-up sweater on, even though it was cold, we would still all have our skirts rolled up because, that was the fashion in the school. And they were pretty lenient about the skirts. This is a non-button-up, so a pullover white woolly sweater. Skirts still rolled up, of course. The wool is pretty itchy material, so it wasn't that comfortable. If I tried to sleep on it, it would make my face itch. So, we wore our long white blouses underneath it, which kept us from itching all over the rest of our body. If it did get really cold and our legs and knees were cold, we were allowed to switch out our navy socks with black stockings as long as they were black and thick. And then when it was super cold, like at the middle of January, we would wear our blazers as well, because those actually doubled as windbreakers too. They were pretty warm. We wore the blazers over our sweaters and then over our white blouses. We could either wear them open, closed, half-buttoned, and still the skirts stayed really short. Pretty much all year they stayed short. Because I biked to school, I had to keep myself warm because the cold wind and occasionally freezing rain. I bought a scarf that was allowed by the school, which was a checker pattern. It could be any color as long as it wasn't very, very flashy. I would ride to school, and that's what it looked like pretty much, me going to school. In the middle of the winter, because there was no central heating, and the walls of the school were pretty thin, all the girls would have these little blankets we'd wear during class while we were learning our lesson. I went out and got myself one when I was there. It's a really soft little blanket. Pretty much our school wasn't too strict about our uniforms, pretty lenient. As you can see, we had our rolled up skirts. Some girls even had them much shorter, but I wasn't brave enough. We didn't always have to wear the loop around our neck, so most girls went without it most of the time, and a few buttons were open on our blouse. About makeup and hair, our school was strict about hair. We had to have our black natural hair. Of course, this isn't in my natural hair color, but for a Japanese girl it is. As for makeup, we weren't allowed to wear makeup, no eyeliner, eyeshadow, or mascara, no lipstick either. Some girls would wear blush, but very barely, so it looked natural. We also were not allowed to wear any sort of necklaces or earrings, no jewelry whatsoever, and we also could not have our fingernails painted. They had to be plain. So that was the only thing that was pretty strict. This is the summer gym uniform, consisting of a white cotton shirt with a collar and our thick gym shorts that looked kind of funky when we were running around in them. On the collar was a green line, which signified what year I was in, and we had our names embroidered into the chest area. Also, the name of the school was on the side of the shorts, and we would wear our name was embroidered in the pants too, the pockets also in the shorts. We would also wear the navy socks with the uniform. These were the two pairs of shoes we had for physical education. The one in my right hand is the gym shoes, which are green for my ear, and we would only wear these inside the gym. The ones in my left hand are track shoes, which we would only wear outside on the track, in the dirt pretty much. So this is what we looked like going to gym class. The shirts were pretty thick, so it got hot quickly, and they didn't really breathe. Most girls wore their hairs up in ponytails, and some girls wore their hairs up in pigtails, which of course I could never pull off. So I just wore it in a ponytail. This was the track jacket that we had when it got colder. Most of the girls would roll up their sleeves if it wasn't too cold yet. A lot of the girls would wear the track jacket just for the fact so that they wouldn't tan their arms. And then here are the track pants when it got cold in the winter, because we did gym class in the winter and there were no heaters whatsoever in the gym. So we would be running around in almost 0-degree weather. The track pants had pockets, and we had, when it was cold, we would roll down our sleeves and pretty much do all of our exercises in our long outfits. We had the names also embroidered on the pants and on the jacket, like that, and we would wear the white shirt underneath the track jacket. This is how we would wear it in the spring when it got warmer, or at a sports festival. Most of the time we were supposed to have our shirts tucked into our pants, but nobody ever did that, so we always pretty much wore our shirts outside of our pants, and the teachers didn't really seem to mind, so I guess it was alright with them too. We have the shoes. Now, 4 pairs of shoes for my school, the loafers for outside, and then classroom shoes. We also had, like I said, the gym shoes, and then the track shoes we had too, so it's lots of pairs of shoes for one school, all green. This was the bag to keep our gym shoes in occasionally. Most of the time we had our shoes downstairs in a locker ready to go, but depending on what activities we would be doing for gym class, we would keep one pair of shoes in the bag up in the classroom so we could walk straight down to our gym class. This was the standard issue girls' book bag. It was made of a pretty sturdy material, pretty big, could hold a lot of books, textbooks, and other things in it. Most of the time we kept our books in a locker though, so we just had random things in our bags that hung on the side of our desks. I would always wear my bag like this because that's how I thought it looked normal, and that's how I thought that it would go. It was pretty easy to carry, except when it was heavy. A lot of girls, however, wore their bags like this, which I thought looked weird at first, but you know, it turns out that it's easier to carry your books like that. So they were smart too. This was our t-shirt for our culture festival. In the school, our class had yellow t-shirts, actually polo shirts, and then our class in our track uniforms, gym uniforms at the sports. And then this, you can see the boys' uniform wasn't so different, with a white shirt and black pants, and they would wear sweaters and jackets like us. They also had a black blazer, so instead of navy, part of their uniform was black. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really loved being in school there, and look out for my next video. See ya!